The call came on a Wednesday afternoon while I was folding laundry. A woman's voice I didn't recognize asked if we could talk about our daughters. My stomach dropped the way it always does when another parent calls unexpectedly. Sarah's mother explained that her daughter had been asking for extra money every single day that week, $5 specifically. When she pressed Sarah about why, the answer made her uncomfortable enough to reach out to me. Sarah told her she needed to pay to sit with the popular group at lunch. I thanked her for calling and sat there staring at my phone, trying to make sense of it. My daughter Lily had never mentioned anything about charging kids at school. She'd always made friends easily, the kind of kid who could walk into any room and find someone to talk to within minutes. This had to be some kind of misunderstanding. When Lily walked through the door that afternoon, I decided to approach it gently. I waited until she'd grabbed her usual after-school snack and settled at the counter with her homework. I got an interesting call today. I said, keeping my tone light. Sarah's mom mentioned something about lunch money. The change in Lily's face was instant. Her eyes went wide for just a second before she looked down at her worksheet, suddenly very focused on a math problem. That told me everything. It was the same expression she'd had at 8 years old when I discovered she'd been secretly feeding vegetables to our dog under the table. It's really not that serious, she mumbled. I pulled out the stool next to her and sat down. Lily, I need you to explain this to me. She let out this huge sigh, like I was asking her to explain quantum physics. Okay, Fina. A few kids wanted to sit at our table during lunch. I told them it would cost $5. That's it. I felt like someone had knocked the wind out of me. You're making kids pay money to sit with you at lunch? She finally looked up, and there wasn't even a hint of shame in her expression. Just the ones who don't really fit in anywhere else. I'm actually doing them a favor. They get to sit somewhere instead of eating alone. I didn't know what to say. Part of me was genuinely shocked that my daughter could think this was acceptable. But somewhere in the back of my mind, a tiny voice whispered that at least she'd figured out supply and demand. I immediately felt guilty for even having that thought. How long has this been happening? I asked carefully. Lily tilted her head, thinking, maybe a month? Carter pays me every Monday. Sarah does Wednesdays. And there's this new kid, Marcus, who just started yesterday. A month. An entire month of this going on right under my nose. How much have you collected? Her whole demeanor shifted, like I just asked about her favorite subject. $92 so far. I was saving for those wireless earbuds I showed you. I told her to go upstairs while I figured out how to handle this. After she trudged up to her room, I immediately called my best friend Jennifer, who teaches middle school. If anyone would know how to deal with this situation, it would be her. Jennifer listened to the whole story without interrupting. Then she burst out laughing. Actually laughing so hard I could hear her gasping for breath. I'm sorry, she wheezed. It's just of all the problems you could have called me about, this is so absurdly creative. At least she's not the one being excluded. That wasn't exactly the validation I was looking for. The next day, I made Lily write personal apology letters to each of the 3 kids. She also had to return every single dollar. She was furious about losing her $92, but I told her she could earn money for the earbuds the normal way, through chores and helping around the house. But then something unexpected happened. That afternoon, Lily came home looking genuinely confused instead of angry. She dropped her backpack by the door and found me in the kitchen. Mom, something weird happened. When I gave everyone their money back and apologized, they all said they want to keep paying anyway. Marcus told me his old lunch spot was awful and the kids were mean. He said sitting with my friends is the only time he actually enjoys school. I realized I'd been looking at this all wrong. These kids weren't being extorted. They genuinely valued being part of Lily's group and saw the money as worth it for that sense of belonging. The problem wasn't that they were being forced. It was that my daughter had turned friendship into a transaction. So we made a deal. Lily would invite all 3 kids to join her lunch table permanently, completely free.